Have you ever had that feeling like you're just running on autopilot? Like there's some kind of invisible script guiding your life, but you're not the one who wrote it? Well, we're about to pull back the curtain on those hidden programs. We're going to figure out how to go from being a passenger to grabbing the controls and becoming a conscious co-pilot in your own life. I mean, it's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? You've got these big goals, these amazing dreams, but somehow it feels like you're your own biggest obstacle. Why on earth do we do that? It turns out there's a really good reason, and it's probably not what you're thinking. So let's start with what I like to call our invisible walls. These are the internal barriers, the limiting beliefs, the self-sabotaging habits that just keep us stuck. A lot of the time, we don't even know they're there. So what are these walls actually made of? Well, at their very foundation, they're built from something called limiting beliefs. These are ideas we soaked up, usually when we were kids and our brains were like little sponges. Think about it. A child gets told over and over, "You're just not a math person." That little message can grow into a core belief that literally shapes their choices for the rest of their life. So why would we hang on to these ideas, even when they're clearly holding us back? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But in a very strange way, they're designed to keep us safe. They create a comfort zone, a world that's predictable, where we don't have to risk falling on our face or getting rejected. It can honestly feel easier to reinforce a belief like "I'm unlovable" than to risk being vulnerable and challenging it. Okay, let's just pause here and flip this whole idea on its head for a second. What if all those things we call self-sabotage, what if they aren't signs that we're broken? What if they're actually old, outdated attempts at self-protection, survival strategies that worked once but are way past their expiration date? And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. Think about procrastination. It's not just laziness, is it? It's a shield. If you never really give it your all, your ego is protected from the sting of failure. Perfectionism, that's just a suit of armor against criticism. And pushing people away, well, that's just a way to leave first so you don't have to feel the pain of being left. They were brilliant strategies once, but now they're just keeping us small. All right, so where does all this stuff actually come from? To figure that out, we've got to pop the hood and take a look at our brain's ancient security system. This is the hardware we're all running on, and trust me, understanding it is a total game changer. You see, our brains evolved over millions of years with one main job: keep us alive. That's it. It's not really designed for happiness or fulfillment in our modern world. It's designed for survival. So the second it even thinks there's a threat, and it could be a real threat or just a perceived one, it goes into lockdown. It reroutes all power away from the smart thinking part of our brain to the fast reactive part. Okay, meet the first responder in this whole system, the amygdala. The easiest way to think of it is as your brain's super sensitive smoke detector. Its only job, 24/7, is to scan for danger. Now the problem is, if you've been through some stuff in the past, this little alarm can get extra twitchy. It starts going off like crazy when there's no real fire, just a little bit of smoke. Next up, we've got the hippocampus. This is the brain's librarian. Its job is to add context. It's the part that's supposed to say, "Hey amygdala, chill out. That loud noise was just a car backfiring. We're safe." But when we're under a lot of stress for a long time, the librarian gets overwhelmed. It can't file memories correctly, which is a huge reason why traumatic memories can feel so fresh, like they're happening right now. And last but not least, there's the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain. This is your logic center, the part in charge of planning and good decisions. But when that amygdala alarm goes off, the CEO is the first one hustled out of the building. It just goes offline. And this is huge. This is exactly why you can't just logic your way out of a panic attack. The part of your brain that does logic has literally temporarily left the building. So when you boil it all down, we're basically running on two different operating systems. You've got the survival brain, fast, emotional, and always asking, "Am I safe?" And then you have the thinking brain, slow, logical, and asks, "Okay, what's the best plan here?" The trick is, the survival brain always gets top priority. But here's the thing. This whole drama isn't just playing out in our heads. Oh no. Stress, trauma, it's all stored physically. Let's take a little trip down the mind-body highway and see exactly how our body keeps the score. Think of your nervous system like a set of scales. On one side, you've got the fight or flight system. That's your gas pedal. It revs you up and gets you ready for action. And on the other side, you have the rest and digest system. That's your brake pedal, the one that helps you calm down and recover. Now, when we go through really stressful stuff or trauma, those scales get totally thrown out of whack. They get stuck. The gas pedal is just floored all the time. And the brake? It's pretty much shot. Our body stays in this state of high alert, constantly braced for a danger that isn't even there anymore. But here is the absolute game changer. We have a built-in reset button, and it's called the vagus nerve. This thing is amazing. It's the super long nerve that wanders all the way from your brain down to your gut, and it's basically the super highway for that rest and digest system. It is the master of calm. And its influence is, well, it's huge. It helps slow your heart rate, deepen your breathing, manage digestion. But here's the real magic. Every time it does one of these things, it sends a powerful message back up to your brain. It's an all-clear signal, telling that twitchy little smoke detector that it is finally actually okay to stand down. It's a direct physical line to your emotional state. Okay, so we've gone deep into the invisible walls, the survival brain, the nervous system being stuck on. We get it. Now for the part you've been waiting for. How do we actually take the controls and start rewiring all of this? Here's the most important thing to get. The key is not to fight against your own biology. It's to learn how to work with it. When we understand these systems, we can give our brain and body what they desperately need to feel safe. And from that place of safety, that's where real change can actually happen. So for those limiting beliefs, there's a really practical 4-step process. First, you've got to find the real belief. So if you think I'm bad at public speaking, you ask yourself, okay, if that's true, what does it mean about me? And you keep asking that until you hit the deep down core belief, which might be something like, I don't add value. Then you challenge it. You become a detective and find every single piece of evidence from your life that proves it isn't true. Then you start looking for new evidence every day. And finally, you create a new, better belief to practice. And to calm down that jacked up nervous system, we can literally give our vagus nerve a little nudge. And you don't need anything fancy, I promise. Deep, slow breathing, where your exhale is longer than your inhale, that's probably the most powerful one. But seriously, even singing loudly in the car, humming to yourself, or just splashing your face with cold water can hit that biological reset button and tell your body it's safe. So, this number 2, what's that all about? Well, it represents the 2 paths we've been talking about this whole time. There's the old, tangled, automatic survival path, and then there's the new, conscious, intentional co-pilot path that you now have the tools to start walking down. This quote from Ennis Nin it says it all, doesn't it? Our experience of the world isn't really shaped by what's happening out there. It's shaped by the beliefs, the memories, and the state of the nervous system inside of us. You change your inner worlds, and your outer world can't help but change with it. So the final thought I really want to leave you with is this. Your old patterns, your invisible walls, they were never your fault. They weren't a sign of weakness. They were tools for survival. But that part is over now. You survived. So the real question is, now that you're safe, what are you ready to build?